Welcome back to Morning Glory. I'm Mike Graham, 29 minutes past 9. Let's go straight to Isabel Oakeshott because we haven't got an awful lot of time. We've only got another half an hour to go. It's been a bit of a busy hour. Isabel, very good morning to you.
Morning. I'm loving this new calling Keir Starmer Keith. I think that's deadly. I think it's as deadly as John Major tucking his shirt into his underpants.
Yeah,
remember that?
Absolutely, yeah. Who can forget it? And remember who wrote about his underpants, of course, that very serious political commentator, Mr. Alistair Campbell, who pretends now to be a very highfalutin and, you know, very high thinking individual, but has forgotten that he used to write a column for the Daily Mirror, which was about as down and dirty as you could get.
Well, it was a phrase that stuck, wasn't it? And I'm quite keen on getting this Keith Starmer thing going because he is Keith, really, isn't he? No offence to any Keiths that may be listening, but it just seems to suit Starmer to be called Keith.
It sort of does, yeah. I mean, my other name for him, of course, is Rodney, which is his other second name, because, of course, it's Rodney U. Plonker from Only Fools and Horses, but that's another story. Just listen to both Robert Jenrick and Nigel Farage there. Nigel saying, you know, they're both very much sort of two ends of the same stick, for want of a better way of putting it. The Tories and the Labour Party, when it comes to immigration, neither one has done anything to solve the problem. And in fact, if anything, they've exacerbated it and made it worse. The Tories were bad enough. Labour are now worse.
Well, I think the Tories bear the vast majority of the responsibility for where we're at, because for 14 years they just basically opened the floodgates. And as Nigel Farage said just now, you know, in manifesto after manifesto, they promised to do one thing and then did precisely the opposite. Now, what they didn't do after David Cameron so demonstrably failed in his ambition, as he called it, to bring net migration down below 100,000, after Cameron failed to do that, the Tories never again imposed any kind of target on it. And what we saw yesterday was Keir Starmer going down the same route. You know, he just would not be drawn on any target. And the reason why is because he knows that he won't be able to, any target that he might come up with it wouldn't satisfy the British people. You know, if he said 500,000, well, that's absolutely an astonishing amount. It's probably about what's going to come in every year for the next few years. But if he said 100,000, it's just not going to happen.
No.
Today's headlines are predicting a fall in net migration of around 100,000. Well, that doesn't even touch the sides.
No.
I mean, it's just no use whatsoever, especially not when because that refers to legal migration, especially not when you've got tens of thousands of people pouring across the channel. So I think that Nigel Farage was right when he said just now that speech will come back to haunt Starmer, because he just isn't going to achieve it. He won't leave the ECHR. He won't put a target on it. His measures are feeble, to say the least. And this is going to continue being an absolutely simmering source of political frustration and fury among the British people.
There's no question about it, is there? And as you say, 35,000 migrants illegally have already come here since Labour got in. So even if they were able to reduce, say, by 100,000, by the time we get to the middle of summer, that 35 will probably become 50. So already half of that number that they're going to reduce it by have already come by different means. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, it seems to me, because I was saying something earlier on the show. We've now got the ignominious situation where many people who turn up on our shores say they've got a relative that lives here, and then they immediately get a tick for the asylum that they can then get because they know somebody who's already here. And that's just going to get bigger and bigger, and it's just going to kind of increase exponentially, isn't it?
I think that Keith Starmer has no idea the scale of public fury about this.
No.
You would have thought that the local election results would be enough to demonstrate that to him, and clearly yesterday's speech was a response to that. But I just don't think he gets it in his heart. Because this is what matters. Does he viscerally get it in the way that someone like Farage does, because he's been out in the channel time and time again seeing it? Does he get it in the way that ordinary people get it, who live in those areas where people are now being actually evicted from properties so that unscrupulous landlords can make a fast buck from these awful, sweet deals which are being offered, you know, for them to rent out their properties on multi-year tenancies to asylum seekers. Imagine how it feels to be a tenant one of those properties, a British person who is being pushed out in favour of these people coming in who we don't know who they are, we don't know what their agenda is, but we know that they can't contribute to this country anytime soon, demonstrably not, as they are living on the back of the taxpayer. And I think that the anger over this is going to continue to grow, and it is going to clobber Labour because they simply aren't fully committed to do the drastic things that are required.
No, I mean, even leading up to the election back in July of last year, they were still maintaining that immigration was not the #1 concern in the country. They still kept saying it was a cost of living. They didn't want to believe it. And when they got slaughtered in the local elections, Keir Starmer said, oh yeah, we've taken the lesson, I get it, we're listening, and we just have to go further and faster with our programme. No! You have to do a complete reversal of everything that you've done so far. That's what you have to do, because immigration is the key to all of it.
He doesn't get it. No. That's the truth. We all know he doesn't get it. And you know, one thing that I thought Nigel said in your interview with him just now was really interesting, was a reference to the increasing aggression of the people that are coming over, the cockiness. We saw it in TikTok footage. I mean, for a start, how dare they post TikTok footage of themselves arriving on these shores as if it's some kind of party. Right. These people are supposedly fleeing war and terror, yet they're coming over here and they are swaggering in now, swaggering. Why are they swaggering? Because they know that they're on their way to a taxpayer-funded lifestyle in a 4-star hotel where they're going to make a pretty penny, many of them, on the black market. And we, the British taxpayer, are forced to suck this up, and people are fed up of it. And the more aggressive and cocky those so-called asylum seekers become as they waltz into our country, the more our communities are going to become divided and resentful. And that is exactly the opposite of what this Labour government purports to stand for. They go on about not sowing division and not creating bad feelings, bad bloods, hatred between different communities. Can't they see that allowing endless people to come in and cock a snook at us all, to mock us and our generosity, is what causes that resentment and those divisions?
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? It's plain for everybody to see. And also, people will see very quickly that all of his, protestations about, making people learn English and making sure that, immigration is reduced, it won't make any difference, because the people who see it for what it is every single day when they walk down the street of their local town or their local city or even their local neighbourhood, which is in the countryside now, they can see it changing before their very eyes. They can see the people moving in. They can see where it's all going on in front of them. And so because he won't be able to change any of that, he will become even more unpopular by the summer.
I mean, Keith was pretty hated within weeks of coming in as Prime Minister, and I just think he's going to be more and more despised. I don't think it's sustainable for him. As I think Nigel was saying in the interview, there's no obvious replacement right now, but mark my words, there's certainly people manoeuvring for that position. And I just think he'll be out probably in 2 years' time, maybe a little bit less than that. But what comes in instead? Is it going to be a Labour leader that decides actually, after all, they're going to leave the ECHR? I can't see it.
No, I can't see it either. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. Isabel, great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.